Hello, Mr. Randy Duck, and welcome back for another video. And today we have one singular replay to show you in the Tier 10 British Tech Tree medium tank, the Centurion Action X. Now, of course, this is a tank which has recently received a buff in the recent balance change. And yeah, what I'll do before we get into the replay, I'll quickly tell you what they have done. They have increased the health pool from 1,950 to 2,050. They've slightly increased the dispersion factors during movement and rotation, and they have increased the reload from 8.6 to 8.7, so barely noticeable. They've improved the accuracy from 0.32 to 0.3, improved the aim time from 2.1 seconds to 1.9 seconds, and then the major change, they have increased the alpha from 390 to 420, and they've increased the HESH alpha from 480 to 510. So that's all the changes they've done. What I'm going to do now is just get into the replay and show you what this tank can do with those changes. Okay, so only the one singular replay today because I felt like this replay deserved its own video. But we are here on Vineyards, where we have encounter battle and no enemy artillery and one enemy light tank, which is the horrendous Vigilante. Now, if you want to see the crew and equipment setup, I'm running in the Centurion Action X. You can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. Now, the Centurion Action X has always been a tank I've really enjoyed. I always felt like it was quite a balanced medium tank. It wasn't like, it was always really good, but it wasn't like really overpowered. So I don't know if it necessarily needed increased alpha, but then they've increased so many of them now. Yeah, I'm not so sure that was the right move. But yeah, anyway, into the video. We're going to come and take a pretty standard position, especially when there's no enemy artillery on Vineyards. And we're going to see if we can punish any of the tanks at the start who sort of peak this ridgeline in front of us. So we do spot a enemy medium tank here, and we're going to wait because he looks like he's going to present himself a slim shot, and we managed to slap that one into the side of the turret. We actually high roll for 445, so we get off to a decent start to the game there. And we've got a decent amount of support here on the sort of A5-6 area. I'm going to see if we can win this as quickly as we can, because if we do, I want to try and push over to the next ridge. But with this enemy medium tank just got destroyed by our friendly Rogue Old Dawn, that's going to give us the window to push over to this next ridge. I managed to get a nice shot in the move. Yeah, quite fortunate to pen that one and get a secondary shot into that medium, which is very nice. Now you can see I've got good mobility in this tank, so I'm able to get across these locations quite nicely and do what the Action X can do really well, is use that fantastic 10 degrees of gun depression which it has, and try and say hold down. Now, we get another shot into this tank, which puts him on to, well, probably a 2-shot to us now, which is good. And then we find an enemy back chat, and we're going to try and put a nice shot into that tank. And we do, putting us under just shy of 2,000 damage now. But we are still, losing this game, which is going to be a theme for this battle, unfortunately. And I'm looking at the map and I'm thinking, right, these tanks, there's 2 enemy tanks at A8, 9 area. I can't progress further with these tanks still alive. And I feel like I need to help my tanks kill these tanks as quickly as we possibly can. So I'm going to move in and try and help them. Obviously, there's a J-Gru here. Don't want to get slapped by and lose a half my hit points in one shot from that tank. So I've got to be a little bit careful, but obviously it's a turretless tank. So I'm going to use this rock to keep myself protected. Bearing in mind I do have the tanks at A7 covering us here. I'm going to put a shot into the drive wheel. I sort of bait the shot there of this enemy Soviet heavy tank, allowing us to get one in for the drive wheel here. I'm hoping my team help me so we can kill these tanks as fast as we possibly can. I'm focusing out this tank because once I've dealt with the enemy Soviet heavy tank, it's going to make it far easier for me to kill the J-Gru, bearing in mind that it is a turretless TD. The J-Gru does kill off friendly chisel, which is not ideal, but we've almost killed this enemy heavy. Somehow he's not actually managed to land a single shot into us yet, which is good news for us. We're always up to about 4,000 damage here, and we should be able to finish him off with this shot through the drive ball. And in fact we do, putting us above 4,000 damage and picking up our first kill. Jaeger shoots. We know we've got all the time in the world to get a shot in and potentially get behind him. I bounce his lower plate just because of the angle, and firing APCR, but it doesn't matter because he's not going to last long now that he's isolated by himself. Hopefully we can finish off and pick up our second kill of the game. So we've now finally managed to kill the tanks in the 8-9 area. Meanwhile, our tanks on the other side have not been faring up too well, and we're down to a 9 versus 11, and the enemy team have the hit point advantage as well. But it is the encounter battle, so I don't necessarily have to be concerned about getting capped out at this stage. It's kind of in the centre of the map. If they move into the cap circle, we should be able to get into an area where we can potentially get resets. But now I don't have to worry about the tanks on the 8-9, so I don't have to worry about them shooting me in the rear when I take this position. I'm going to take this little house in front of us and see if we can get any cross shots across the map at any of those tank destroyers located in a sort of G5-6 area, and we managed to do that successfully, getting the shot into the F3005. Now the Action X, like a lot of the British tanks, do have good HESH pen. I've got 105 penetration on the HESH, so I can actually pen that F3005 with the HESH, but because there's lots of other targets available, I'm choosing to keep my APCR rounds in for the meantime, because you've got a great shell velocity of 1,478 with the APCR, and with your great accuracy and aim time, even better now with the buff, you can really just pinpoint them cupola shots quite nicely. So we have two tanks in front of us here. There was an enemy back chat at the start of the game, but I haven't seen him, so I don't know if he's moved off, but I've got to be a little bit concerned about that. And obviously I've got to be careful that there is a vigilante light tank, so I don't want that tank just coming flying out of nowhere and just go and deleting me in 2 seconds. So that's something I've got to be careful of. Try and squeeze a shot into enemy medium. I don't have a great one because he is hold down. I tried to go for the shot through the turret there. It wasn't possible, through the turret ring I should say. Vigilante does show his colours crossing the map though, and I'm able to put in a really nice shot, which is important because it's put him onto a one shot to our team. We are still losing. It's a 7 versus 10, but we amazingly managed to keep all our hit points up until this point, so that's going to be nice for us. It's going to allow us late game to trade some shots if we need to, but we are having a decent game with just above 5,000 damage with 2 kills, but we're still 40% hit points. We're in a good position, but I've opted to try and fall back from this position because we spotted the enemy full health American heavy tank. There was a back chat located there as well, and I was concerned my team were going to lose the other side, so I was pulling back into a position where if that enemy heavy tank pushed forward, I could try and cover my team from here, because our friendly heavy, which is located currently in the C9 area, is an enemy friendly Martian, I should say, but he's on a one shot, so I don't think he's going to be able to last much longer there. So I'm pulling back, at least that's what I thought, because I thought the heavy tanks were going to push us here. Maybe I should have stayed for a little bit longer. Now this is still a close game, but still very winnable at the moment. Now I'm kind of get caught in two minds here, because I was going to go back to where I was, which I kind of think maybe I should have stayed there for longer, because I was getting cross shots at the TDs poking in that sort of middle ridge, and now I've left. I've kind of given up that angle, so I think maybe I should have stayed for a little bit longer, but I was worried I was going to get pushed by the heavy tanks, and it was going to be a little bit awkward. So I opted to come back over this side and see if maybe I can get some shots and help my team out over this side, because they don't seem to be faring too well over here. Unfortunately, we just lost our friendly machines, that FE1005. And yeah, I'm kind of stuck in two minds of exactly what to do at this moment, but like I say, we're having a decent game and I still have all my hit points, so I would really want to try and make the most of this, but I've got to be a little bit patient. I can't go crossing the map in front there, knowing that there's that FE1005 and some other nasty tank destroyers still in the game, which could potentially shoot us. And as I'm sort of hopping across this map, I'm looking at our heavy tanks have pushed in, and they're not really faring too well, and I've got my suspicions that they're not going to last too much longer. So I'm going to go back to where I was, see where that enemy heavy tank which we spotted at the sort of C9 areas is located, because our friendly Maljan is still alive over there. So maybe I can get over there and try and just find an angle to get back into this game. It's been a quick start, and then the sort of middle game is slowed up a little bit. It's still very even, as I say. Like our friendly Emil 2 has just been taken out on the other side. I suspect our other heavy tank is going to follow, and that is kind of what's happening. And once that happens, enemy team tend to get a little bit more aggressive once they know they've got the numbers, and they start making their push forward the map. So I want to be in a position that when they make that sort of more aggressive play at the end, when they get a little bit braver, I'll be in a position to try and get some shots into them. So we come back to our location. Our friendly Manticore here, he's also having a really good game. He comes in quite helpful with us in this game. He's just picked up a nice kill shot there, which is important. We spotted a full health enemy tank destroyer there, and we know there's still probably tanks, in the sort of J89 area we've got to be careful of. There's a Batchat we spotted, but you can see where this enemy medium tank is. That's the tank which is kind of stopping me pushing across, because I normally push across down the 8-9 line, but we don't have that many tanks covering us, and that I don't want to push into that while that medium's alive, because he's going to essentially spot us, and then any of their tanks which might be camping in there, camped like this convoy here, would be able to get shots into us as we move in. But our Manticore does like the convoy, and that's going to give me an opportunity to try and farm him. We put 2 shots into him. We're looking to see if we can get another shot in, but I believe he's just got behind a bit of cover there. Enemy Batchat is now crossing. Now he's on 800 hit points. He's a potential 2-shot to us. I need to try and take this tank out, because this Batchat, it's a 3 versus 7 now. It's really gone, to bad to worse at this point, and I need to kill this Batchat now, because other tanks are going to be making their way to my location. So I'm going to pop and try and get a shot into this enemy medium to finish him off. Batchat gets tracked. We put one into him. Unfortunately, he survives on like the sliver of hit points. I'm still able to kill him, but it's mean I've kind of ate 2 shells for it, which isn't ideal given that it's now 2 versus 6, and we've got this 1-shot medium here which is making our life difficult for us. We can't get a clean shot at him, and I don't have time to waste here anymore, because I know tanks are going to be making their way across to us now that they've just won the other area of the map. Now I want about 7,000 damage. Now it's not looking likely for a win, but I'm always going to fight all the way to the very end, because there was a few 1-shots on the enemy team. And I'm just going to try and pull back here. I'm hoping our friendly Manticore can kill the 1-shot medium on the other side. If he can kill them, that's going to be quite helpful. I really need our Manticore to stay alive, but obviously he's under a lot of pressure as well. Spot the enemy heavy tank which we moved from earlier. Then we spot another full health, I think, gorilla there, and then FE1005. We put a shot into FE1005. Puts him onto a 1-shot, and I'll be honest, I'm thinking it's going to be all over soon, but I'm just digging in here, seeing if we can finish that FE1005, but he's not poking. I've got a heavy tank coming around behind us. I'm going to have to turn any minute to deal with this tank. Now I need to kill him as quickly as I can. I can't bounce the shot. If I bounce the shot, it's definitely game over. We put 1 shot into him. We're now a potential, I think we're a 2-shot to him, depending on what gun he's actually got in. So we put another shot in. Now we are a 1-shot to him, but we should beat his reload, and we should be able to take out this enemy tank here. We do, and we put us on to about 9,000 damage with 4 kills. But unfortunately, our Manticore gets taken out. Gorilla's coming in. It's going to be game over. We put 1 shot in. We're thinking, all right, he's just going to kill us here. And then he actually missed his shot, but unfortunately, we had nowhere to go. And he rams us to death. If I'd have had, wouldn't take those shots on that Batchat and I would have killed him, then I might have been able to survive the ram. Then I would have actually killed the gorilla. But to be honest, I thought the gorilla was going to kill me anyway. It's only the fact that he missed his shot. So, despite having a really good game, getting almost 10,000 damage, 4 kills, we wasn't able to pick up the win, because sometimes it doesn't matter what you do, you just can't win. But we tried, and that is it for the video. So I hope you enjoyed it, and as always, happy tanking.
Enemy in sight. Hadouken!